What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name is Greg Wave. I'm going to be your host for the day. So I wanted to show you guys today actually some money that I've made before and some actual numbers and break down and give you a look at what it could actually look like and what you could actually be doing. So what I'm starting with is a part-time week of Uber driving. So as you can see on the screen here, I did about 35 hours and made a little bit over $700. So not a bad week at all, but there are some things I want to kind of point out here that can kind of give you more of an idea of what you're actually coming home with. So a big thing you've always got to think about is gas costs. So I went back and tracked my earnings. I got 3 tanks of gas to do 35 hours. And what I've generally seen, I think it's going to depend a lot on your vehicle, but like this is actually my personal vehicle. It's a Nissan Altima. It does pretty good on gas. So I usually have to fill up per every 12 hours of Uber and Lyft driving. Now, that's only going to be so accurate. You know, obviously that can fluctuate, but that's generally what I see on average is that every 12 hours you need to fill up. So that week on gas, I spent about $110. So you got to subtract that. And one thing you've got to also think about is you guys will see that I made $100 in tips that week as well. So, and I'm really big on like the tipping aspect because for one, what did I just do with that tip money? I just counteracted my gas cost. So that's a big reason why you really need to be personable and friendly, because think about it this way. Let's say I don't get that tip money. I'm down to about 620. So then you factor in the gas costs. Now I'm down to like 510. Like that's a big difference. Like that extra $100, like I don't know about you guys, but to me, like that makes a huge difference in how I pay bills, how I live my life, every single thing I do. So you're gonna really want to be like ramping up on the tips well. But another really key thing is like this week might look really good to you guys as far as like the earnings. Like even if you subtract that gas cost and you're talking, hey, $610 for a part-time week. I mean, that's basically full-time. That's 35 hours, 5 hours short. But a lot of people would say, hey, that's actually not that bad. So little things you've got to also think about. I was at that time probably doing about 35 hours a week, somewhere around there, give or take. I was usually doing an oil change every 2 months with the amount I drove. So let's just say hypothetically, I was spending usually about $30 on my oil changes because I was getting discounts. So we'll just say every other month, you've really got to take now an extra $15 off of that. And that sounds ridiculous to even calculate that, but if you're doing it that often, like you got to think, let's say you averaged that, okay? That's $180 a year. If you're keeping that consistent of a pace. So again, these are all the things that in the moment with Uber and Lyft, it seems like it's not really affecting you, but in the span of a year, it all adds up. All your oil changes, all your fast food, all the crap you do to do this, it all adds up, and you got to figure out how much you're actually making when it's all said and done. So if I had, I'm not going to boil down because I don't know all the times I got a drink from 7-Eleven or whatever it is. But if I added up all those things, I bet you I would have to take about another $100 off of this. And I'm pretty certain that's accurate, because there's a lot of things that you end up spending money on doing this that you really don't realize you're doing. So if I had to guess, I would say this is really more like a $500 week. And a $500 for, not full-time, that's still not too bad in comparison to some things that are out there, especially depending on your education level or, what level of skill or trade you have to what you could realistically do as a counter option. So if we look at it, $500 for 35 hours, there's another thing you've got to take into factor and take into consideration with this number that I'm giving you guys. And this is very, very, very important. So I looked at the hours I worked that week. I did 12 hours on Friday, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., and I did 12 hours on Saturday, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So I was getting some really prime hours. I usually get great tips on weekends. If that 35 hours is spread out maybe through Monday through Friday instead, and it's more like work hours and stuff, that's a totally different number. And you guys really have to keep that in mind. I'm a weekend warrior with this. Like, I will go out and grind on weekends because the money's there. But for weekday driving, a lot of times, you know, it's not going to look like that. So you guys really need to remember that because it's going to factor into it heavily. But that's what I got for you guys today. That is what a part-time week can look like. Can look like, not will look like. That is what a part-time week could look like. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. I hope this either inspires you or encourages you to not do this, depending on how much money you want to make. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you guys want to get some more content.